Every VCT team has that one player.
What a shot by Demon One.
The guy who single-handedly carries his team, the guy with the biggest ego, or just the guy who's the vibe merchant. And today, we're going to be ranking every single VCT team's best player in one of 5 different tiers. And the 5 tiers being GOAT, you're just the greatest of all time. Single-handedly carrying, you always carry your team and is obviously the best player and one of the best players in the region. Team jail, you're still one of the best players in the region, but you're kind of stuck in contract jail, kind of like EG 2023. Good, you're good. Grocery store kebab, you're all right, but you're nothing special. And then obviously Carmine Corp 2023, when XMS smoked himself out with an operator. I don't feel like I need to explain that one anymore. Anyways, there is one rule with this entire tier list, and that is that I can only have 3 goats from each region. So for example, if I take Americas, I can only pick Trent, Aspas, and fucking Jugamo or something. So let's get right into it. 100 Thieves. There isn't really a question on who I'm gonna pick here. It's obviously Mr. 4K, aka Cryo. This guy always single-handedly carries this team. And I swear to God, he reminds me of EG Demon 1. Mostly because of his agent pool, but also just because he's just a shooter. He always performs. He always delivers good numbers. One thing that tilts me though is that tier lists never really put him high, even though he's consistently been like the top 3 player of Americas for like the past couple of years. And that's something that's been tilting me for a long time. So for that reason, he's going straight into single-handedly carrying tier. He's almost gold, but not quite there. 2G spikes in. I can't lie, we haven't really seen a lot from him in VCT, but that's just because he hasn't been old enough to play in VCT. But when he was playing in Ascension, my God, was this guy good for 2G. He basically just single-handedly carried them every single game they played. So mark my words, this guy in stage 2, because now he can actually play for 2G, is gonna be insanely good. And for that reason, I'm putting him in single-handedly carrying tier. Trust me on this. Cloud9. Cloud9's best player is obviously Sepa. Just kidding. Please don't click off the video. We're talking about Oxy. Oxy is honestly one of the most mechanically gifted players I think we've all seen in VCT. And if it wasn't for the fact that he plays on Cloud9, I think he would do pretty good. Because Cloud9 kind of just like kicks a lot of their good players after 3 matches, and then they have to like rebuild the whole roster and rebuild the whole team chemistry. So that isn't really helpful when you have a player who's signed to like 2027, I think, and who's just really cracked. However, he does kind of like in game sense, I feel like, but his aim more than makes up for it. So he's going straight into team jail tier. Evil Genius list. Yay. It honestly feels weird to call this guy the best player on a team again after what happened in Bleed and shit. But my God, has this guy resurrected from the dead. He's been playing really, really good under EG, and it's always putting up numbers for them. I don't really know what Potter did to him, but whatever Potter did is working. He kind of reminds me of what would happen if they signed Demon 1 again after NRG and stuff, and Potter does her magic and he just becomes the best player again. And I could honestly see Ye becoming one of the best players again in the world if he just keeps performing at this level, because mind you, he isn't old, but he isn't young, so still has like a little bit of time left, you know, before he reaches Ung status. So for that reason, I'm putting him in good tier. Furia. I honestly didn't really know who to pick on Furia. This team is just a dumpster fire, but if I had to choose one guy, it would have been Heat. However, I'm just gonna put them in Carmine Corp 2023 tier and move on. Trent. As much as we're joking about him being a Tejo crutch, it's honestly probably true. It didn't really perform that well in Toronto. However, Trent did actually perform pretty good, and I must say I still think he's the best initiator in all of Americas, and there's not really anyone really close to him, I would say. Maybe Verno, but at the same time he's kind of inconsistent. And yeah, Trent is always just putting up numbers, and therefore I'm using up one of my GOAT spots and putting him in GOAT tier. Leviathan. I don't really know how to feel about this team. They keep kicking players and adding players and kicking players. However, one thing is for sure, King is still really, really good, and I think he's still one of the best IGLs in the league. However, I don't really know how I feel about it anymore, because sometimes he plays duelist and he's not been doing too good. So I'm just gonna put him in grocery store kebab tier and move on. Loud. Luxo. I don't really know how Loud found this guy, but whoever found him or whoever scouted him, they need to get a raise. After watching stage 1, I don't think I've ever seen a player carry a team this much, bro. This guy is insane at the game. He's just crazy. I'm very excited to see where this guy is going to go with the new Loud roster, because Robbie BK and Verdi is a really, really good pickup. So let's just hope Loud does good. Vamos Loud, vamos Brazil, vamos Caralho. Luxo straight into single-handedly carrying tier. MIBR. I don't really feel like I need to say a lot on this team, so Aspas just go tier. You guys know, bro. I don't need to say anything. NRG. Mada. I'm being so real. I didn't really watch a lot of NA tier 1, so I didn't really understand how good Mada was, but seeing him play for NRG and seeing how he always performs at the top level is really, really cool to see. And another thing that's cool as well is we both share the first name. So Obviously, I'm going to rank him high, so he's just going to go straight into single-handedly carrying tier. Crew. I would have put Kesnet here a year ago, but honestly, the past couple of months, Shy has just been looking really good for this team. And he's just been an overall really good sentinel for them. He's always performing and he's playing really good. His lurks are really good. So for that reason, I'm putting Shy in good tier. Sentinels! Hi guys, Sentinel fan Boney here, back at it again. You guys already know, Sakinya. I don't know what Sentinels would have been without Second. I can't lie. I don't see a world where that's happening. But I remember I played against this guy back in 2024 in March when they were here for Masters Madrid. And I don't think I've ever gotten shit on in a TDM that hard. I think he dropped 60 kills or something with Neon. And I couldn't do anything, bro. I'm Radiant, but I couldn't do anything. It was just terrible. But anyways, this guy is probably either #1 duelist or #2 duelist in all of Americas right now. In my opinion, I would put him higher than Aspas at this current moment because Aspas didn't really have a good Toronto. So for that reason, I'm putting him in GOAT tier. VCT EMEA. So starting with Apex. I've heard some rumors that Penny is joining Apex, or maybe this is already done when you guys are watching the video. So if that's true, then Penny is going into Apex's best player tier, I think, because he was performing really good for Liquid when he subbed in for them. So he would be here. But if not, Batujnax is still a fucking GOAT, bro. He's so good and he's so young as well. He's he's a cracked Turkish aimer, to say the least. He's also very cute, which just helps a lot. And if it wasn't for the team he was in, I think he would have played a lot better. So for that reason, I'm putting him in Team Gel. BBL, Sociable. This guy is super good. I honestly could have picked Prophet here instead if I wanted to for the bald buff, but Sociable has just been so good for him. And also just looking at his chamber, which honestly isn't a character that's played a lot in VCT, but holy, is this guy good at chamber, bro. Just look at this ace he's hitting here. BBL are also looking really juicy, so I'm kind of excited to see what's gonna happen with them. I'm looking forward to seeing Pal being head coach, and for that reason, Sociable is going straight into good tier. Fanatic. Here, it was a bit of a hard player to pick because all of the Fanatic players are really good, but I think the guy who's always stuck out the most to me is just Alphair, because he can just play everything and he plays everything so well, and he's just a cracked aimer. He's good game sense, and just in general, he's just like the cornerstone of Fnatic. He's always played really good for them and always puts up numbers when it matters. Like in the final of Masters Toronto, I think you went +20 or something crazy. So for that reason, he's obviously going in GOAT tier. Foot Zeus. I can't lie, if you take Turkish aim and just max it out to the max, you would get Zeus. He's just a really cracked aimer, and honestly, putting him on duelist was the smartest choice anyone could make in life because this guy just frags, bro. So for that reason, he's going into single-handedly carry tier. Gentlemates. I can't lie, when making this video, there were so many Gentlemates player. I didn't know which one was actually on the roster and who was playing and who was not playing. So this was a bit of a hard one. But Mini has always been very solid for them this season. So you're going straight into grocery store kebab tier. Carmine Corp. Here, it was between him or Sugetsu because Sugetsu's always been really good for them. And he's also just a really cracked aimer. However, the performance Martin put up in stage 1 and EWC qualifiers is insane. He was blasting people, bro. He was blasting them. So for that reason, he's going straight into single-handedly carrying tier. I think I just tipped over a monster. But yeah, straight into single-handedly carry tier. Koi. I don't know what the fuck these guys are doing. They kicked their best player. Solkas was performing really good for them. And then they just decided to kick him. So I don't really know who to choose now. I'm just going to choose Filu, Carmine Corp 2023 tier, and move on. Navi. Hero. This guy is too cute. And I'm definitely not putting him in single-handedly carry tier because he is my friend. And he's also really cracked at Valorant. Definitely not. Nepotism. I love it. But Navi, please kick Angel. I want to see you guys win, please. I want to see Hero win. Team Liquid. Here, it was a bit of a hard one, choosing between Nats and Keiko because Nats is really good and he's been consistent for years. But I feel like right now Keiko is just having his moment and he's performing super good. He reminds me here again kind of like Demon 1 with his agent pool and also his aim. I think he has the highest headshot percentage in the league as far as I know. He's always performing very good, and when all the other Team Liquid boys are playing really bad, he's the one guy who steps up and just carries them. And so for that reason, single-handedly carry tier. Team Heretics. Here again, it was kind of a hard one to choose who I wanted to pick because Miniboo was playing really good in stage 1. But just for consistency's sake, I have to put Rians here. He's just really good. I think he's the top 5 initiator in the world, probably top 3 actually. He's always performing really good, and he has just the ability usage of a fucking robot, bro. And he's also very young, so I'm just excited to see where he goes. And honestly, for this reason, I'm gonna use up another one of my GOAT tiers and just put him in the GOAT. Team Vitality. Durka. I don't feel like like this needs an explanation. He's been the best duelist in EMEA for like 5 years straight. And he's just always performing. It sucks a little bit that Team Vitality has like kicked 15 players and added 15 players and then kicked 15 players again. So team chemistry is kind of ass. But then again, Durka always makes up for it. He's just really good. He's going straight into GOAT tier. Boom! DOS9. Without DOS9, I don't think Boom would have played as good as they did in VCT Stage 1. And also DOS9 is Kazakhstanian. I think Kazakhstanian, which is really cool. I love Borat. Very nice. He's going straight into single-handedly carrying tier. Yes. DFM. If you say DFM, who do you think about? May, right? Obviously. He's probably one of the most cracked aimers in APAC. And I honestly think that if he was on a better team, he would have performed a lot better. However, at the same time, he makes content. And also, if you're a player watching this, make content. I don't know why you're not doing it. When your career is over, you want to have something to go back to. Anyways, he's going straight into Team Jail tier because he's playing on DFM, bro. What is he supposed to do, man? DRX. I think you know who I'm going to pick here. Hyunmin, obviously my GOAT. Literally #1 cracked aimer in APAC, bro. Hyunmin, if you're listening, bro, can we please duo? I'll play on 170 ping for you, bro. Or when you come to Champs Paris, let's play. Anyways, he's always performing really good. And for a young player of this caliber, he obviously has some mistakes that he makes. He sometimes overheats a lot. But then again, he also makes up for it because he's always just doing the work for DRX, bro. And for that reason, he's going into good tier. You thought I was going to put him in GOAT tier, didn't you? Get prepped. Speaking of GOAT tier, Genji Texture. If you ask me who the best duelist of all time in APAC is, I would have said Texture. Mr. 4K, bro. This guy not only is funny, Shibal, but he's also just really, really talented. He knows exactly when to go in and when to play passive. He's like the perfect duelist. And honestly, I think he's just gonna get better. If this Gen G team just gets the cohesion down, I think it's over for all the other teams, bro. So Texture, straight into GOAT tier. Global Esports. I'm not gonna speak a lot about global esports. You already know what I'm gonna say. However, picking up Crystal was a good decision. So for that reason, I'm gonna put them in Carmine Corp 2023 tier. Nongshim Red Force. Here again, kind of same situation as Boom. There's been really like one standout player, and that's Margaret for them. He's always been performing really, really good for them. He's looking pretty good. However, I'm still gonna put them in grocery store kebab tier. Paper Forsaken. There is a saying that goes jack of trades, master of none, which basically means that you're good at a lot of things, but you're not really mastering anything. However, you can't really say this for Forsaken. I think he's the best flex player of all time. He can play any role he wants, and he still performs good, bro. He still performs world class. Like, if I took... Let me just take a random match from VCT Stage 1 Pacific. Let's check his agent pool. There's 60 million agents here. 60 million agents he's playing, bro. So for that reason, he's going straight into GOAT tier. And also, he MVP'd in Masters Toronto. He was the GOAT. RRQ. Jemkin. As I stated in my EWC video, RRQ didn't really perform that well, and I think a lot of RRQ fans are sad. That being said, though, Jemkin is still like really good. He always puts up number, and I think it was like the 3rd or 2nd highest rated player in APAC. Wait, let me have a look. He was the 2nd highest rated player in APAC in Stage 1, and he's just putting up numbers. And I think if it wasn't for him, RRQ wouldn't have won Stage 1. So for that reason, I'm putting him in single-handedly carrying tier. T1 Meteor. I was honestly really debating on putting him in GOAT tier because Meteor is honestly one of the best. He's probably the best Sentinel player in all of APAC, and he always just performs good. And if I see him with a Sheriff, I think the round is over because he's just the best Sheriff player in the world. However, I do think there's one player coming up soon in APAC that deserves the spot more than him. So for now, I'm just gonna put him in single-handedly carrying tier. Team Secret Ivy. I'm not gonna speak a lot here. They're just going into Carmine Corp 2023 tier. I'm sorry, Team Secret fans. Talon. I'm always gonna pick Primi. You guys know I'm gonna pick Primi. I don't think we've ever seen a mechanically gifted player of this caliber before in Valorant. I honestly think this guy is probably the most mechanically gifted player in the world. I think he's the best aimer in the world. And you might be thinking to yourself, wait, Pony, why are you putting him in GOAT tier? Well, my friend, it's because the GOAT tier is just for players that are just very special in some way. And Primi, in my opinion, honestly has the best aim in the world. And Tens kind of agrees with me saying this.
I said that Primi clears Osmos in terms of like aim, which I do think just straight aim. If they both let go of their keyboards and they had to aim, Primi has that right there. I think his fucking rifle is insane. And I don't really say this about people that often, but I actually think with the right mentorship, like that could be like a simple level talent right there.
So yeah, Go tier. Zeta division. Here again, this team is a disaster class. Sugar Zero, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm putting you in Carmine Corp 2023. You're the only light in this team, my friend. VCT China. All gamers. Here again, it's kind of like Zeta division. This team is kind of a disaster class. Our Kira has been performing pretty good for them. So for that reason, he's going straight into Carmine Corp 2023 tier. Billy YZ. I finally understand how to pronounce the name now, guys. You should clap for me or type wow, you're so good in the comment section, guys. Anyways, this guy is really good, and he's just a really solid duelist for Billy Gaming. He's been putting up numbers, and he played honestly pretty good in Toronto. I was kind of scared when Sentinels were playing against him. So for that reason, he's going in to single-handedly carrying tier. However, don't give him a ghost, please. DRG, not a lot to say here. Vukashu is just a really decent player for them, and he's always performing, so he's just gonna go straight into good tier. EDG, I'm obviously gonna pick Kang. He's probably the best AWPer in the game. I don't think we've ever seen an AWPer this good in Valorant. Maybe you could say CNET, but I wouldn't agree. I think Kang is still better. You guys know how good this guy is, and from a region we don't really hear a lot about, at least not from English-speaking countries and stuff like that. Then I'm not really from an English-speaking, you know what I mean. And he's just really been like pioneering the way for VCT China. So for that reason, he's going straight into GOAT tier. FPX. Yosemite has always been kind of like the cornerstone of VCT China, in my opinion. If you said VCT China, I would have said Kang and Yosemite probably. And he's always just been performing and putting up good numbers for every team he's played for. And honestly, for that reason, I think he deserves to go into good tier. JDG. I don't really know a lot about this team. Their bundle is pretty cool, and I know that Baby Blue has been putting up numbers for them though, and he's been playing really good for them. And also, I just genuinely like the name, so they're going into grocery store kebab tier. Nova Esports here, Easy Air. I don't know a lot, again, because I don't really watch VCT China, but looking at his stats and looking at some of his recent performances, he's been playing pretty good for them. Nothing out of the ordinary though. So he's going straight into grocery store kebab tier. Titan Esports Club. We all know how good Haodong was for EDG for the past 4 years. I think he played for EDG or something like that, 2020 to 2024, yeah. And he's overall been very solid for a long amount of time, and nothing really changes when he moved over to Titan Esports Club. And for that reason, he's going straight into good tier. Trace Esports. Here, I probably should have picked Kai, but you gotta remember, I'm a Deadlock main. I'm very biased, so I'm obviously gonna pick my GOAT Heibei. I don't think we've ever seen as good of a Deadlock player as he has been performing in VCT. So for that reason, and again, not biased at all, he's going into single-handedly carry tier. Tyloo Esports. I'm be real, when I was doing research for this video, I was checking stats on VLR for stage 1, and oh my god, this guy is apparently the #1 ranked player in stage 1. Mind you, he doesn't have as many rounds as the others, but still 270 something rounds, and this good of a rating is insane. And for that reason, I'm putting him in single-handedly carry tier, because that's kind of what the tier is made for, because he's literally the #1 rated player in stage 1. Wolves. I feel like there are certain players who just make this game fun to watch, bro. And I don't think I've ever been as hyped for a team since Sentinels when they won Masters Madrid as I have been for Wolves when they were playing in Toronto. Seeing Sufat always stand up and hype his teammates up, and just like being a fun person to watch, has just really made my love for the game grow even more. And I think I'm actually gonna start watching a lot of VCT China games now, because he kind of hooked me into it. I also think for this reason, as I said previously, the GOAT tier isn't necessarily for who the best player in the region is. It's about someone doing something extraordinary or extraordinarily good. And I think Sufat is like the pinnacle of the definition of this. He's really good hype man for his team. I mean, you can kind of see it when they came back from Gen G twice, I think, and went on to win that game. And I think that just goes to show as how good of a mental support he really is for his team. So for that reason, I'm putting him in GOAT tier. XLG. Rarga is probably undoubtedly the best player in stage 1 in VCT China. He was putting up numbers for XLG, and he even made them win stage 1, which is insane coming from an Ascension team. And I honestly think for that reason, doing something extraordinary again here, he deserves to go straight into GOAT tier. Now again, who do I think is the best player from each region? Well, that's a hard one, but if I had to choose, I would say Aspas from Americas, obviously. Durka, EMEA, he's just been consistent. Forsaken, Jack of Trades, Master of All, and of course, Kang. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.